Hello, welcome to the 77th edition of the Free Late Challenge Show. I'm Gareth Roberts and I'm joined by Paul Cope. And this week at the start of the show, we're going to try not to swear because I think the adverts and that aren't working because we keep swearing near the start. And then you get like this sort of different logo on the video if you're the creator where you're like, oh, it's having a go at, and there he says a swear word straight away. It's having a go at us for swearing and punishing us. So we're not going to swear for the first 5-7 minutes. How long do you reckon we can go? Whole show? I mean, I'm the worst.
I just went silent then because my brain was like, just stay. Don't say anything. The first word out your mouth's going to be a swear word.
On today's show, the plan is to talk about a myriad of things, including hurling, bucket lists, and then getting into the big topic of the show title, this idea of playing Premier League games in America, which keeps coming up. And that's weird, isn't it, that it keeps coming up? And it's weird, isn't it, that they keep trotting out experts saying it's inevitable? And it's weird, isn't it, that the top man at the Premier League has changed what he says about it all of a sudden? And it's weird, isn't it, that the chairman of Liverpool Football Club should just happen to mention it? All very weird. So we're going to get into all that. But before all of that, we've got a couple of shout-outs. We got a nice message from Anthony Sheriff. He says, "Hi lads, I love the show. I've been a subscriber since the beginning and I absolutely love listening to both shows each week. This is a random one and no worries at all if not, but I'm getting married next Friday, July the 26th, and my bride-to-be, Zoe, has become an accidental fan of the podcast by hearing it in the background every Monday. She's a fan through osmosis. She's watched a few of the shows on YouTube with me and she's a massive fan of Kopi. I don't know if I should be worried or not, but she thinks he's the absolute business. Any chance we can get a shout out on the show before the big day? Although she has to settle for marrying me, I'm sure a shout out from Kopi would make her week even more special. Keep up the great work, lads. Keep up the great work, lads. Looking forward to relaxing on a sunbed with a pina colada on the honeymoon, listening to you lads talking nonsense." So yeah, Kobe, have you got a nice message of blue steel down the lens?
I love the way you put that in the agenda. Blue steel from Cope down the lens.
To Zoe.
Well, firstly, it's a nice message, isn't it? This is funny. When you sent me this during the week, a part of me thought, is this the type of thing you should send to your girlfriend or not? And I was like, yeah. Nothing wrong with keeping you on your toes. Is there like, yeah, look at this, isn't this nice?
Yeah.
And then the second thing that dawned on me was my first girlfriend, like proper girlfriend, was called Zoe.
Oh.
And I thought, it's probably not her.
I mean, there's a general thing here before you deliver your blue steel that there's nothing wrong in life of those little moments that you get where you think, still got it. We all like that, don't we? That's. There's nothing wrong with still got it. So
I think that's a big thing for long-term relationships as well. Do you know this idea? I read a book on this last week, talking about this type of stuff, and it was like, it's good, it's healthy.
Yeah,
it's healthy to have that, and like to have this thing. And this is one for Anthony. I wanted to say this as well because obviously, thank you to both of you, and I hope you have a fantastic wedding. And thank you, Zoe. It's very nice of you to be a fan. And I wanted to say, you've got a good one there in Anthony, because not all fellas would have the confidence to ask for this shout out, would they?
It's nice, isn't it?
So I hope you both have a boss day and a lifetime of happiness together. And we did joke that I didn't ever think this was happening, but I did reply to Robbo saying, are we going to be like Gary Barlow in the future, like rocking up at people's weddings for like as surprise guests? That'd be a nice evolution.
Hey, if you
TLC,
fancy inviting us to, the full day and we get like fed and watered, don't rule it out.
I'm a massive wedding fan.
Yeah, they sound. Yeah, I like them.
I love weddings.
I love seeing how everyone's dressed. I like, like we've had graduations at Jill and last week, and it was a bit like that. As in, you saw full families all dressed. The dad's put a suit on and had his haircut and all that. And it's just nice, isn't it?
It's just lovely. It's one of the few occasions where, especially for the people who get married, like you basically get everyone you know and love in one place. Everyone gets dolled up. and you just have a boss day.
Yeah.
And you forget about all the shit for a few hours and you just enjoy it.
Have a dance with a tie on your head.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff.
Is that where you end up?
Normally, mate, yeah.
Yeah.
So is that...
So you want us to come down?
Yeah.
You know, when is it Friday? Just let us know.
Yeah, so all the best to Anthony and Zoe. Hope the wedding goes well, and hope you got what you wanted from Kobe there. Also, thanks to Serge, who's come straight in with a super thanks. Are we saying that's what they're called?
That's the first time you've called it a super thanks.
Because I think that's what it's actually called. Yeah, I normally make up a whole load of phrases that it isn't. I think it's called that, isn't it?
Isn't it a super like?
Now I'm getting shrugs from the back room as well.
No
one knows, but we've got one of them anyway off Serge. $9.99, and he says, yes, the boys. We also, as well, this week got a nice message from Sean Hayden, who said, well then, lads, what you're doing is great, and I'm happy to show appreciation by funding the studio's stock of Barry's, the king of teas, obviously. Then he says, not coffee. The reason being that he on the website buymeacoffee.com, where the Late Challenge podcast has a page, he bought us the equivalent of 25 coffees, which is incredibly generous. So thanks very much for that, Sean.
Thank you, mate.
And also, you're right, we won't be spending that on coffee because I don't drink it. You don't either, do you? You don't drink hot drinks, do you?
This conversation always ends up in the same place.
Yeah, and your mum still offers you one.
Yeah, but people always describe it as hot drinks as if it's the temperature that's the problem with them. It's like he doesn't drink hot drinks. It's like what? It's like it's not it's got nothing to do with the heat. It's the taste. I do drink some. I will drink some.
Drink hot chocolate?
Heat. No.
Do you drink?
I just don't drink the main ones. I don't drink normal British tea. I don't drink coffee. And I
green
don't drink
tea?
Hot chocolate. I'll drink green tea and Chinese tea and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't drink them often. Like I've said that in front of people and like, oh no, you don't. No, you fucking
don't. Nearly. Lad, what did we make there?
I love that. How far did we get?
We got. I think we were. What were we on about? I'm trying to look on the timeline. About 12 minutes, maybe 10 minutes.
That's because I was so focused on trying to do a nice message for Zoe and Anthony and thinking, not sure I did you justice with your message. And my brain forgot about the
Joseph says, like, what
thing.
Do you drink for pleasure if you're also teetotal?
This is a big question of mine, and I think there's a niche in the market for people who don't drink alcohol and also don't drink tea and coffee, because I think there's way
no
more people than you
caffeine,
think.
no alcohol.
Yeah, but also because I've started then like edging sugar out. Which, when you start going down this road, you are a bit like...
You must be turkey all these things.
I did 5 days without sugar and then cracked. My theory is if you're going to give up sugar, you need to be properly organised. Because you almost can't leave your house without being prepared or knowing in your mind what you're going to eat.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you walk into a shop and you're hungry...
Everything's sugar.
It's like 95% sugar, unless you just buy fruit. But even then, that's got...
fructose,
natural sugars in.
Frugs.
Combination of sugar and fructose to a tired brain. My brain's doing that more and more recently. I've noticed. I did at the end of a meeting last week. I was in an intense meeting all day. You're focusing all day, and by the end, there were just words coming out my mouth, and everyone's like, "What?"
You just like Biden by the end of the meeting.
It was. That's what it was like. It's like the computer had powered down. I was like, I'm just going to have to wrap this up. I'm too tired. So that doesn't bode well for the next 2 hours of chatting. So yeah, because I used to drink things like, cordial and Ribena and stuff like that. And
I like Ribena.
I've cut that out now for the most part. I still have it sometimes, but what you find is as you cut out more and more sugar, as you have the sugar, you can taste it more. Do you know what I mean? So all of a sudden, cordials taste dead like plasticky to me. They're weird. You can really, because you're not numb to them. It's like I said to you.
I used to have 2 sugars in my tea, and like I cut it out a long, long time ago. But now, if anyone puts it in accidentally, I'm like, fucking, you know what I mean? I can't stand it.
Yeah,
it's like proper like throws me head back. Like I'm like,
Well, that's the funny. I've ever told you the story about my mate whose wife's Argentinian. And she did it about a brekkie. He gave her an English brekkie. And as she was eating
Not like
it,
a full English.
Full English. Because he was like, oh, you've got to have a full English. So she was eating it. And she got to the beans. And as she put them in the mouth, she was like, that they're disgusting. Why would you put that on your plate? And he was like, what do you mean? She went, they're full of sugar.
Yeah.
And he was like, what? And she went, they're full of sugar. They're sweet. Why would you put... So in her head, it was like putting like a dollop of jam on the corner of your dinner, do you know what I mean? Or your breakfast. She was like, it's a savoury meal with sweet stuff on it. And when he said that to me, I was like, nah. But they're full of sugar, aren't they? And it's that as soon as you realise how much sugar's in everything and you extract it.
I think we're just going to jib the agenda and talk about what you like to eat and drink here, mate. I've now got a question about whether you like Bovril.
I'm not sure I've ever tasted Bovril.
Yeah, well, you can come in where you're full red trachy.
Yeah,
and
that went down well last week,
have
didn't
some
it?
Bovril,
Looks like that's the 100th show sorted in advance.
Did you see the thing I sent you before as well? We talked last week about mad seagulls. And
I did. I've seen the message, but I haven't looked.
Yeah, so last week on the show, Kopi revealed that he got attacked by a seagull, and then we talked generally.
Was that on the?
It was on the Patreon, wasn't it? So you should subscribe because this is the chat you're missing out on.
You missing out. It was a belter, apparently.
And yeah, he revealed that he got attacked twice by a seagull in town, and then we were talking about how they didn't used to be that bad in town, and it was always Llandudno that had the mad seagulls, and now we've definitely got mad seagulls. I'm choking. Hang on. The thing I got today, someone sent me, was they've got hawks now in town.
How is that what that was?
To like fight them. But what I thought was boss basically was the person who sent me it. Sorry, I didn't take your name, mate. He was like, you'll love this because the headline's very you and you'll love it. And I did. The Echo went with Liverpool's XL Gullies. Are being fought by these like hawks, basically. Like, and I was into that XL Gullies, so that's what I drew off an XL Gully in town. Anyway, so you don't drink Bovril, but yeah, so maybe we could do full red trackie reveal because Kopi bought a full red trackie off Temu and have a Bovril.
I saw it. Do you know what's funny? I saw it in my cupboard before. It's still in my wardrobe. Did you think
about wearing it?
And I laughed because I thought I should have banged it on. And then it dawned on me, I haven't even worn it. I've only tried on the tracky bottoms. I've never tried on the top. Because Siobhan put on the whole, as soon as it arrived, she was like, I'm putting that on. So she put it on, like, as a laugh. And after that, I was like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, well, I'm not putting that on. I ended up putting on the bottoms because she was like, she reminded me when I was telling her we were talking about it on the show, she was like, God, do you remember them? Like, they were like plastic, so your skin couldn't breathe in them. You were like straight away you were
Shellies?
Sweating. No, it was like what's the word? Polyester, but like really thick polyester. So it wasn't quite shell suit. But
I melted a pair of Shellies once in front of my Mars fire. Came in freezing when I'd been out and just stood in front of the fire.
Why you had them on?
Yeah, they melted. They had a lining in them, so it was all right. They didn't melt directly onto my skin. Still there, like. And those Adidas shell suits. Tracky bottoms were no more. Let's get back. Let's get back to the actual agenda then. Now that we're about 20 minutes into the show, like 18. So I wanted to talk a little bit about hurling, because I feel like I talk about it every year. Every year I do try and catch the final, and every year I do also say I want to go to a hurling game one day because the boss. Now what I liked yesterday was it was on BBC Two, so they've shown an Irish game on BBC Two to go, have a go with this, everyone. Do you know what I mean? And I thought, anyone who hadn't seen it ever, like, what a first game to watch, because the game was tremendous. Went to extra time. Like, it was non-stop all the way through. It was end-to-end. Like, it was decided by the finest of margins. There was little bits of controversy in there. There was great goals, if they are indeed called goals. I think they are. This is how far my hurling knowledge stretches. But it was just boss. And what I loved about it as well, because it was on BBC, you were getting loads of people watching it for the first time. Like I said, and there was some great tweets going around. So I was messaging Phil Keeley, our Irish friend, about it all, and he said some fellas tweeted there, it's like two teams of Roy Keane with weapons, which I liked. But there was this one that seemed to sort of go semi-viral by a fella who calls himself Matthew Mateman. And he says, hurling appears to be a mix of UFC, rugby, hockey, football, baseball, the egg and spoon race, all while hitting a snooker ball as hard as you can, high into the sky as possible towards goal, with what looks like the bones of a tomahawk steak. 10 out of 10, would recommend, #hurling.
Yeah, I like
Great tweet. And
if
a good summing up.
If hurling aren't on top of their like marketing yet, like us, if I was them, I'd go with that.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
The description.
It's absolutely
because as soon as I read that, I was like, yeah, I'd watch that.
I mean, there appears to be a thing which is recurring as well about we're going to come on to bucket list. This is on my bucket list. I'd love to go to Croke Park. I'd love to watch the final, but I think I'm among like many, many, many people who would like to do exactly the same. And, you know, the tickets are apparently like gold dust. So it's probably not going to happen. But the beauty of having a podcast with, you know, a few people listening and watching is there could just be someone out there with some kind of influence. You can say, Robbo, I can get you in. Yeah. So, you know, hello@thelatechallengepodcast.com if you want to email in to say, next year, lad, you're in. But otherwise, it does seem like the tickets are like rocking or shit, so probably not going to happen. But it sort of like fits in with the conversation that I had at the weekend with one of my best mates. We were talking about just like life at this age, all of the usual stuff that me and you talk about. And one of my things was like, I think now I'm at the time of life where I like there to always be something to look forward to. Do you know what I mean? So I like that I've booked something or I've planned something. That there's just something in the diary of you like that I can work like, oh, on such a date, that's going to happen. You know, so like at the moment I'm looking at it going, okay, this is doing me head in, but on such a date, I'm going to climb Ben Nevis. On such a date, I'm going on holiday to Turkey. You know what I mean? And that's great. But then I'm already now thinking, yeah, but when I've done them, what's next? You know what I mean? And I don't think that's a particularly unhealthy way to live. I think that's probably quite good, isn't it? So, yeah, this is on my bucket list now. And we're going to come on to in a minute to talk about what maybe you've got on yours or the things I've got on mine. People throw in what they think about having bucket lists and all that. But just to add on the hurling, not only is it thousands of years old, only really played in Ireland, but it's like, it's definitely like this purer sport, if you like, compared to what, you know, we're always slagging off on here. So it's basically people playing for their area, for pride. They're amateurs, they've got day jobs. There's a little bit of a thing going on about the better players do still get sorted in other ways. So they might get like a sponsored car, or, you know, they might get a job that might, you know, they might have got a bit of preference for, that kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, and I was looking that up because I've heard that off Irish lads before, and when I googled it, I found some conversations online saying, you know, like it is an amateur sport, but some of them get sponsorship deals and jobs they're unqualified for. And someone said, what, do you mean that hurler who was a teacher that never taught any classes, only supervised and made fun out of students in my secondary school, got the job because he was a hurler? So there's maybe a bit of that going on, but it is boss though, and it's like, it's unbelievable the pace of it. It's unbelievable how exciting it is. It's unbelievable the skill of it. And it's like, you've got to be one tough bastard to play that. Like, they proper get stuck into each other. There's like little fights going on seemingly all the time. Like, you need to get on it, mate. You need to get it watched.
Well, I think it sounds boss, and I'll add it to my list. But the thing that I don't get is, if they're playing in front of crowds of 80,000 people, surely those people are paying to get into the stadium.
Yeah.
So where's all the dough
So it goes to the GAA who like organise it all.
And where did
and as far as I understand it, you're stretching my knowledge of the whole situation here. So apologies to people from Ireland who are like, no, it's actually this, lad. But as I understand it, because it's like that, they get the dough and then they distribute the dough. And it's then able that like your smaller teams essentially, they can maintain the ground, they can maintain the pitches and all that. And it just keeps the competition like, hopefully, I might be wrong, but hopefully quite pure, if you like. Yeah, and it's not just about the biggest team, the best supported team, you know, the bit one with the most money. Yeah. They throw the money back out sort of league wide, if you like, or however it works. And that's my understanding of it anyway. Someone might tell me I'm wrong, but I think that's the general vibe of it, which is good. And then, so that's on my list. And then I started thinking about, well, what else? So throw some in if you've got any as well, mate. But something came up in work. So it turns out that there's a lad who's studying at Edgehill, who's playing with the first team for St Helens rugby league. And straight away I'm intrigued. I'm like, well, hang on, so you're doing a degree and you're playing with the first, and you're 19. Like, oh, wow, well in, nice one, mate. So I'm going to try and get hold of him and do a piece on him and all that kind of stuff. But then I thought, that's another one. I've never, ever been to a rugby league game in my life. And like, there's been a bit of a thing, and I've been a bit of a player in the past. I've probably looked at it and gone, whoa, I'm not going to that. But now I'm like intrigued by it, and like loads of people have said things to me about like they've enjoyed it. And a lot of the things that we end up talking about on here, so much, you can have a bevy, the coppers aren't all over you, it's not moody, it's a bit more affordable, all of those kind of, like I've watched games on the telly and I don't mind it. I'm just not like overly passionate about it or bang into it or anything. But so I wouldn't mind doing that as well. Would you do that? Would you try? Have you been to a game ever, rugby league?
I feel like I have years ago. Because you've put cricket on here as well. I went to a cricket game.
Yeah, I've only been to them, like, small level, lower level cricket. I've never been to like an England match or
I don't.
That.
But you know what? It obviously didn't have a big impact on me because I don't remember it properly. Would I go to one? I don't know. I feel like it's funny. It made me laugh before as you described hurling, and then Joe referred to the one we referred to the sport we slag off all the time on here. Like what, the one we obsess about in our lives. Yeah. And it's funny, isn't it? Because like there probably is room for just a load of us to just go, fuck it, let's just go and do something else that's more fun and more in line with our values. And people do this on an individual basis, and we have talked about this, and we're like probably creeping towards this, like just fuck off the other one, because I know we're going to come on to talk about it more later. Yeah, I'd go and watch a game of rugby, yeah, and I'd go and watch, all of these things I'd do. I think like just as a why not?
Yeah, actually, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's where I'm at with most of these things now. I'm just sort of like I say, maybe it's an age thing, life thing, whatever. But I'm just sort of like, yeah, let's give it a go. Let's do it. Let's do different stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Just something I like doing as well. I've always liked this. Going and see something, and you're watching a sport that you're not dead into, so you just watch it with fresh eyes and you just take it for what it is, and you can sort of see things that other people can't see. Yeah. And like you get it with footy sometimes with someone who hasn't watched footy before, and they'll say something and you'll be like, yeah, you're right, actually. Do you know, some like mad comments, and you're like, yeah, that's right. Actually,
I'm getting so wound up that the throw-in went the other way. I mean, the snooker was another one, was it? People in the comments there saying you're running out of time potentially for getting to the Crucible. That's another one. I just need to get my arse in gear and do it. There was a lad a while back who sent me like, I think it was like a snooker tournament that was actually in Manchester, and I did try and get tickets, but everyone was on it, to be honest. And like by the time I got on it, there was nothing left, no decent sort of days, times, etc. So that's another one as well. And then it made me think, about sort of wider bucket listy stuff that has gone round in my head in circles for years. I mean, like, said about Ben Nevis before, me and my mates are already saying, well, fingers crossed that everything goes to plan and we do it, and there's no hiccups on the day. What do we then go, okay, we'll do this now? Well, it makes sense to me to do Scarfell Pike, because then we've done the 3 peaks in 3 years, not in one night like some mad people do. But then I was thinking about, like, I wouldn't mind doing like Hadrian's Wall as well. I think you can do that. I haven't read up on it properly, but the general vibe seems to be, you factor in like a couple of nights of accommodation along the way, and there's pubs along the way as well and stuff like that. So maybe that. And then we'll just say, but like I've got other ones, like, I'm sure you have, destinations. Always wanted to go to Costa Rica. I don't know if anyone's ever looked into it or been, but it looks absolutely amazing. So that's just been stuck front and centre in my head for years. Go there one day, get that done, go and see what that's like. And then San Francisco as well, just always fancied that. Haven't
Never
done
been
that.
to San Francisco?
No, never been. I've been to America quite a few times,
Yeah,
but
I thought you'd
not
been. I thought you'd been out there with the
not to San Fran.
Don't they get out to San Francisco?
I think they
no?
probably have been there, but not when I
When
went.
you were there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's funny because San Fran. I mean, without getting into political stuff, so I think San Francisco's gone down the pan in recent times compared to when I was there when I was 22, so a long time ago, 22 years ago. And it was boss then. One of my something I've always thought when traveling is there are certain places you go to that you can feel them when you walk in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know it sounds mad that when you walk into a city, but like certain places have an atmosphere.
100%, yeah.
They have a buzz about them.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool's one of them. And I think when you're from a city like Liverpool, that's why you have an affinity to places like that. That when you walk in, you can feel it.
Yeah.
Because you're from a place like that. So it feels comfortable in some way or familiar. Melbourne was like that for me. And
that's a great city.
San Francisco.
I loved Melbourne.
Yeah.
It was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
one of my favourite places, though.
And San Francisco was like that as well. But I mean, you can never tell, can you? Like looking at things on Twitter, who knows? It maybe the things I've seen on Twitter are just small parts of it. And but yeah, I've heard things have gone down the pan in recent years. I've got loads, and it's funny the other day because I've started talking about this loads. I don't know whether we've talked about this. Like I've started making like a 20-year plan because my new philosophy of life is. Our problem is we look at everything in too short term, and actually if you look at things over the longer term, everything becomes better. Because if you've got a 20-year plan, let's say to be rich, well, it doesn't matter if you're poor next month because your plan's 20 years long. Whereas if your plan is to be rich next month and you're not, shit, innit?
Yeah, unrealistic expectation, and then next minute, you're sad.
Yeah, exactly. But it's funny, the one that popped into my head, which is the top of my travel list, is Petra in Jordan. You seen that?
No.
Where it's all like the mad stuff carved into the rock faces. No. It's all like proper like ancient civilization stuff where you're like, well, how the fuck did they do all this? It's what on. Did you ever watch? Have we ever talked about Carl Pilkington on here? Did you ever watch any of that? Stuff?
Yeah.
It was one of the ones where it is one of his like famous lines of, yeah, but you're better off living like if you were in, because I think I don't know whether this is official, but like it looks like the entrance to like grand palaces and stuff. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if they've been filled in, but if you stood on that side, it's a bit like if you're in Liverpool looking at Birkenhead, or if you're in Birkenhead looking at Liverpool. His thing was, well, you're better off living in the hole looking at the boss thing, aren't you? But I want to go there to look at the boss thing. But I've got loads of things on my list. But I've got loads of things like I want to do, like learn how to fly a plane.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Get out.
Like,
go ahead, lad.
Did you see that? I saw a boss clip. I don't know, people have got mixed opinions of him. But do you know that thing where they do the Google questions, where someone famous, and it's like they Google, and it's like Google asks this and they answer the questions. So I saw Tom Cruise doing it, and it was that thing where you were like, people were like, is it true that? And it was a list of just mad stuff, and he was just like, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's like, is it true that you've got your own pilot's license and you can fly? Yeah, that's true. Is it true that you can fly fighter jets? Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Is it true that you can pilot your own helicopters? Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Is it true that you did your own stunts, like climbing up the outside of the Burj Khalifa? Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And even he started laughing, and I was laughing watching it, thinking, that's boss that though, isn't it? Like, by the time he dies, he's just like, I did fucking loads of stuff in my life, didn't I? And that's where I've got to. I'm like, I don't want to hit me middle ages and then everything just peter out.
Yeah, no, same.
You know what I mean?
I'm the same.
There's a lot of, if you notice, I caught myself starting to do it a few months ago, like, oh, I used to this and I used to that. Oh, I ran a marathon, and I just caught myself and I was like, lad, stop it. Who gives a fuck that you ran a marathon in 2017? Because as I started doing it, I was like, when you used to say I ran a marathon, it was I ran a marathon last year, which is sound, because that was just last year and you're still quite fit. You can't run for a fucking train now. So stop going on about something that happened 8 years ago, whenever it was, 7 years ago. If you want to talk about running a marathon, go and train to run a marathon again. Be fit now. Stop talking about the past. So
See,
yeah,
it's the whole YOLO thing, innit? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, what are you doing and what you want to do, and like before you know it, everything can pass you by. So like, why not plan to do things? Why not aim to do things? Why not look to do things? And it's like when you like little things, loads of stuff we talk about on here, and we just have a chat and we're not on here. Loads of them stick for me. Like I remember just you randomly saying to me once about just try and not watch that much telly now. And I'm like, I tried that, and I was like, I didn't miss it.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, half of what I was watching was complete bollocks that I was just watching for the sake of watching. So I just do other stuff with my time now. And like, I still do watch it, don't get me wrong. But what I tend to do now is, if someone says to me, I watched X, it was really good, I think you'll like it, I'll put it in my phone. And then when I get to, if there's some section of a day or time where I'm like, I've not really got anything to do here, I'll look at my phone, find that, look that up and watch that.
Yeah.
Rather than just going, like flicking through channels
through.
forever, or that, amazingly annoying Netflix menu where you're just going through for seemingly forever going, yeah, potentially all boss, but I've seen them all, or I don't fancy it, or I don't care that that's number one and trending, it looks shit and I'm not, all of that. Just cut out all of that.
Well, think about that. That's, I think, the number one and trending thing. Every time I see this, it sums up humanity now. Why is it number one and trending? Because everybody's doing the same thing. Everybody's sitting down at the end of the day, putting on Netflix and going, what should we watch? And whatever's number one and trending, everyone just goes, just put that on.
Yeah.
And you're like, so it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're like, how about just stop and go and do something that's good?
This is we've had another little whatchamacallit super chat, super is right, and it's from Thaddeus Lawrence.
Nice name.
I hope I said that right, mate. And he just says, Luke Chambers, left-footed, 20-year-old, plays left-back and left centre-back. FSG aren't going to cough up the books for Lini Yoro, if that's how you say his name. Moneyball runs too deep. Slot is here to develop players. Arnie is our transfer plan. You'll never walk alone, thanks to my favourite pod. Okay. Thanks, Thaddeus. $19.99.
Thanks, mate.
From Thaddeus, very generous. Thank you,
nice
mate.
Of you.
Where were we up to? Yeah, we were doing bucket listy stuff, wasn't it? A couple of random things that I just wanted to throw in. Because what we might do here, and I quite like it when this happens, we've already done 37 minutes-ish around there. I quite like it when we say in the title that we're going to talk about a topic and then hardly talk about it, and it's in the Patreon, and it feels like a plan. Do you know what I mean? It's like we tempted you in off this, and then actually if you want to hear that chat, well, you'll have to go over to Patreon.
Yeah.
So maybe
that'd be funny when people start having to go to us for that plan, and we're like,
not a
if
plan.
You've been watching us for long enough, there isn't much of a plan.
It's not a plan, it's just what happened. I wanted to mention a couple of just like random things, but nice things, and I just thought, a bit like what we're talking about life and all that. It's just nice to do nice things, isn't it? Basically, for people. So it was my mate's 50th the other week. We went to London, which I mentioned on the show last week. But I wasn't going to mention this, but then I thought, you know what? I'm going to mention it. I feel like, obviously, we're quite, I would say, some people would say negative. I would say realistic about what football's like these days. I would say that we discuss some of the stuff that other people won't, because they just want to polish it, the turd all the time and say everything's great. So I was thinking, I feel like a lot of ex-footy players get a bit of a bad rap. Do you know what I mean? Like they're not seen in the best light for whatever reason. And some of it's a bit stereotype, like, there are plenty of them who are sound, etc. And so 2 little moments of soundness. It was my mate's 50th. I wanted to do something good. I wanted to do something where he'd be made up, surprised, all of those kind of things. And I thought it'd be nice to get like little message for him from someone. So I was having to think about who could we do it and all that. And he's 50, obviously. So who's like a hero, or who are heroes from the time when we were banging to footy, when we were going the game, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, Robbie Fowler, John Barnes. And so I'm and hard about, should I just randomly message those 2 people and say, yeah, like I've done stuff with both of them, but, I'm not the mate or anything, am I? Do you know what I mean? They might remember me, they might not. Who knows? In the end, I just thought, oh, shut up, Gareth. Do you know what I mean? I'll just do it. And I'll just cut to the chase and do it. So I messaged both of them, said it's my mate's 50th, been having a bit of a shitty time at the moment. We're trying to give him a boss birthday. Be great if you could send a message. You were one of his heroes, obviously. You can see that from his age. He's a cop season thing. Gave it the sell, sent them off. Thought, see what happens. Both replied, both sent over little videos, both were great, and my mate was made up. And I was like, that's boss, that, isn't it?
It is boss. And
Cheers,
it's boss,
lads.
It's boss on a number of levels, because I think you're putting this in because you're saying they've been nice. Like Robbie Fowler and John Barnes were nice. But I was thinking about this after you showed me, like, fair play to you hey, how fucking big licks are you that you've got Robbie Fowler and John Barnes' number in your phone? Just like humble brag there, do you mean? I just thought I'd message Robbie, like, God, yeah. I just messaged God and John Barnes.
Just in my phone as God mobile.
Yeah, I am God. And I'm one of the greatest footballers of all time. Just send them a message. So, like, our boss is that. And, like, loads of people would, going back to, giving Zoe and Anthony a shout out again. Like, loads of people would shit out at doing that.
Well, I nearly
wouldn't ask, but you didn't. You had the balls to ask, and I've had that attitude for a long time now, and I still have to check myself sometimes. I did it last week with some business stuff and was like nearly shit out. But I've had this attitude for a long time. If you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
Like, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
They just ignore you. Well, actually, the worst thing can happen is they message you back saying you're a prick, and you're like, okay,
yeah.
Well, I was just trying to do something nice. It's not for me; it's for me, mate.
Or ghost you.
Oh, yeah. But even if they do, like, it's only in our heads that it becomes a problem then, isn't it? If you just switch off those stories, like, oh, they probably think I'm a prick. It doesn't matter. So, fair play to you for doing it. And you showed me the messages and they were boss, weren't they? Yeah. Fair play to both of them for going, do you know what? I will for some fella whose 50th birthday it is.
Yeah, they weren't just like, I mean, I'm not going to put them out there or anything like that, because it's obviously like, it's in like a certain context, isn't it?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, both of them had like a bit of a laugh and said funny things and all the rest of it. So it was good. And but
how did it go down? Because I don't think I asked you that.
With me mate.
Yeah,
he was made up, and like, there was a nice moment actually when we got back from London. Because we did all the little bits and bobs for him. Like, we all chipped in. Like the other week when we went on a big walk, obviously prepping for Ben Nevis, and we did like Mo Farmer, seeing a fella at the top of Mo Farmer who led on and said the late challenge was boss, by the way. I don't think I've mentioned that, but anyway, that was boss. So thank you, mate. And then like we carried on past Mo Farmer, because Mo Farmer's pretty easy. It's just it's like 45 minutes or whatever. So we carried on past that, went up another one, Mo Arthur, and then we did a big massive circle round. Anyway, and it was absolutely lashing down that day. And the same lad whose 50th it was had this coat on, which wasn't waterproof. Do you know what I mean? I said to him, mate, like, looks like you've just got like a massive condom on, and like, you can't be going up Ben Nevis in that. So we created a group, like, everyone who was going on his birthday, and I said, like, let's get him something for his birthday. And I said, can I suggest we get him a decent Berghaus, proper waterproof Gore-Tex coat for Ben Nevis, because he can't go up in that condom. And that's what we got him. So we had no idea, and so handed over the prezzies on the train down to London. But when we got back after everything, he said to me, like, at Central, when he was going his way and I was going my way, and he was like, listen, nice one for all that. And he said, I'm not very good at saying something in front of everyone, especially when it's like sprung on me. He's like, but nice one. I'm made up to get those messages off Fowler and Barnes, unbelievable. And he's like, nice one for sorting. So yeah, it was all boss.
Yeah,
it was all it all turned out nice. Do you know what I mean? So that was good.
Did we talk about that thing the other week about that something I saw? This will be one of those things that you told me, and I'm telling you back now. Did you ever do that? And it was about like doing good things for people, and about the impact it has on them, but also the impact it has on you when you do it. like they feel good, releases all the nice chemicals inside them, but it also does that for you, and then you carry it with you.
Yeah.
So it's nice, like actually being nice and doing
I
nice
was
things
made
for
up.
each other.
I mean, those messages aren't for me, are they? Do you know what I mean? But like when they replied, I was like, get it,
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Because I was straight away thinking he'll be made up now.
Yeah.
And like it was boss because like in our mates group, like we all, it's like the same thing. I don't know where it started from, but it's the same thing every year now. Everyone puts in like someone they think you look like and put like happy birthday lad, and it's like the same lookalikes and every year. So like I waited for them to start and then just randomly, like I hadn't told anyone, and then just randomly throw in Barnsley, like, and everyone's like, hang on, what the
fuck?
And then like let a few more go to, then threw in Fowler, like, do you know what I mean? And I thought, hang on, where did these come from? Who's coming next? And I was like, no, that's it now.
I love that. I love that. I've got a story like that in which, well, we couldn't get Fred to list this. I did that in me, like I did a proposal, like did this big grand proposal to me who now an ex-wife, and I'd done this big thing in Vegas, planned it out. Don't know, I won't go into the detail, but like was a big meal in the Bellagio. Then went to Tiffany's, got a ring from in, and all this stuff, like fucking all on credit cards and all that, which I'm still paying off now. But got to the end of the night, so like I'd done a surprise, got a penthouse room and everything. And as we're walking, after all this fucking fairy tale, fucking Hollywood thing that I planned out, she turned to me and went, "Oh my God, is Michael Bublé going to be in our bedroom?" And I was like, "What?"
Nah, you've just got me.
Like, how have I got to the end of this and you're disappointed that I haven't got Michael Bublé?
Bloody hell.
Like, and that is the way it's like fucking expectations.
Expectations keep on going up. What's next?
Yeah, what's next? No, and you have to go, no, it's just Barnes and Fowler.
Yeah, it's just the two big heroes you had when you were watching the Reds.
Yeah, sorry lads. I could only get Barnes and Fowler.
Well, so the other one, and again, I guess it is a bit of a like, you can sort of term it as being a bit of a humble brag, but who's that? Like, this is another thing I've been thinking about lately. The thing about like blowing your own trumpet or not shouting about yourself and all that, and like again, age thing, life thing, not that not that, but I've nearly been here 50 years myself, like, and I'm kind of like, no one else is gonna do it for me, so fuck it, I'm gonna start doing it. Do you know what I mean? And it's like the other day I did a big, like, I've sat there cringing and moaning about stuff I've seen on LinkedIn for years. And then I just thought the other day, I'm going to do it. Because why not? If it works and it helps me to achieve what I want to achieve, bothered. It doesn't define me. It's just something I've lashed on LinkedIn. Anyway, another nice thing was Chris Kirkland, who's a boss fella, nice fella, does loads of great work around mental health and gives up loads of his time doing it as well. He got an honorary doctorate from Edgehill. So, I worked as part of my job on like the PR around that. Mm-hmm. We made various bits of content with him, like, arranged for there's to be like an interview at Melwood between him and a student. So did some stuff there. Obviously, your press releases and all that kind of stuff and what have you. And I helped him with his speech as well. And but when I was talking to him in one of the chats over one of the pieces of content, I said, I think it was when we were going to Melwood, I said, do us a favour, like tomorrow, could you bring in, because we made like a little video, or the people who make videos made the video, I didn't. But it was like a bit of it was supposed to be like a bit of a like question of sport mystery guest type thing, like guess who's getting an honorary doctorate. And so, you saw him like putting his goalie gloves on and all this kind of stuff. And I wanted to show his England cap, because he got an England cap 2006. He played for Steve McLaren's England as it was against Greece, came on at half time. Mm-hmm. So I said, could you bring the England cap down? And he goes, I never got one. I'm like, what? He's like, I never got one, mate. He said, I said, I don't know why. He said, but I never got one at the time, and I never got sent one. So I just never got one. And I was like, oh. And then like, went away from that thinking, that's not right, is it? Do you know what I mean? Like, he's played for his country, like, and as much as we sit here and moan about what we think about it, if you're the actual sportsman and, you've achieved something not a lot of people have achieved, like, I'm guessing you want the traditional marker of doing so, which is the cap. And obviously you do actually get a cap. And like, because I always remember, I shared it with my mates recently because I thought it was boss. When Gerrard reached 100 caps for England, one of the papers did this thing with him where he went back to St Michael's School in Eighton, and it was when he was on 99, but obviously like the game that weekend or whatever, he was going to get his 100th cap. They got like Gerrard standing in front of like 99 kids in St Michael's School and like where he went, and each one of them had one of his caps on. I thought, that's a boss idea,
Nice, yeah.
And a boss picture. So anyway, I just thought I took it upon myself. I thought, see what happens. Like, so I just started lashing some messages around, like, know anyone at the FA and stuff like that to various people. I wasn't getting too much back, to be honest, like a little, maybe him or maybe this person, whatever. In the end, I just started Googling it myself, found like the list of, various comms, people who work for the FA around England or whatever. Emailed a few, started getting some stuff back. And then eventually spoke with the fella who, when you were seeing like Southgate do like press conferences, it was the fella next to him basically.
Oh, okay.
And this was like mid-Euros as well, so fair play to him for like coming back to me. It's not hardly the priority for him at that point, and yet he was engaging and all that. Anyway, like they said, well, we're going to sort something for him, like, and I was like, brilliant, he'll be made up. And I was like, is there any way we could like spring this surprise, if you like? I said, because he's going to be receiving an honorary doctorate, in front of all the graduates and everything. There's going to be like a citation, then he's going to give his speech and all that. I said, it'd be great if like we could reveal this news to him as part of that. And they were like, yeah, no problem. They were like, we'll send you the letter confirming that he'll be a honorary guest in the royal box and all this kind of stuff at a future England match, and he'll receive his cap on that day at Wembley, like. And I was like, boss. So they sent me that, and then we got it all like worked up in like a nice frame, got a picture of him playing in that game in 2006 and all that. And then the pro vice chancellor gave a big citation about Chris and why I was getting the doctorate and all that. And then he was like, and if you could just allow me, Chancellor, I just want to break away from a moment, from tradition and from this speech to say. And then he said about, someone in corporate comms, a bit like VAR, spotted that there was an issue and has done something about it. And then I walked on, gave him that, and it was like, you're going to get that England cap that you never got in 2006, like. And it was boss, it was just boss to like see his face, see the faces of his family. His daughter was absolutely made up because she was like, because it's like a plus, it's like bring someone with you, and she was like, it's got to be me, I want to meet Jude, I want to meet Trent and all this, like, and it's just nice, you know what I mean?
That's
just
lovely,
boss,
that,
and like
mate,
honestly, like he's a boss fella. Like I've known him for a while, like we're not bezies or anything, but like I've been on a big walk with him once, did like an 11-mile walk with him.
I remember that.
Remember? Like, like anyone who's got an Apple Watch, when you see like your walking pace, I think his is about like 13 miles walking, because he's 6'6", isn't he? So like, he's these
Power
big
walking.
massive strides, and I'm there like behind him,
like behind like a little kid.
Yeah, so it absolutely killed me. But no, I've done like various interviews with him and things over the years, and always been a really good fella, and dead unassuming, dead selfless, and literally said to me on a number of occasions, like, if you're struggling, mate, and you need someone to speak to, you've got my number, like. And like, there's no need for him to be saying that, is there? You know what I mean? But the fact that he does says a lot about him, doesn't it? So made up that he got the thing off Edge Hill and made the honorary doctorate,
and did it go down well?
Made up that he got the England thing too. Yeah, like I say, they were all made up, and like, he sent me a message the next day, really nice voice note, just saying thanks to everyone and thanks to you for sorting that. And he was like, we all had a great day and all that kind of stuff. And again, nice to be nice.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Really nice, mate.
Nice to be nice. Right, where are we at? Nearly done the hour. I haven't talked about the big thing. Maybe we will just do the Prem in the USA thing as the Patreon, because I've got one more thing, And I'm messing everyone. Look, do I have to do this? Maybe I do have to do it. But, you know, Liverpool have played a game of footy. They lost 1-0 to Preston. So shall we be the first to do it? Slot out. Get rid. Only messing. Did you see any of that? Did you watch any highlights of that?
I didn't even know it was happening until I saw, and just so you know, you're not the first to say slot out. Have you got onto that? I saw a tweet by James Pearce.
Oh, did he do it?
No, he just tweeted about the game and the
A
result.
reply.
And then he quote tweeted his own tweet saying, some of the replies to my tweet are mad. And so then it caught my eye. So I just thought, I'm just going to have a look, because you could have guessed what it was. But just loads of, because James's like article was something like, youthful Liverpool side loses 1-0 in first pre-season friendly.
Used 25 players.
Doors, behind closed doors, whatever it was. Not even an official. I don't think it was even an official pre-season friendly, was it? No. Just the first of his having a look at things. So obviously, to the vast majority of Liverpool fans, it's like a non-news event. But there were genuinely people in those comments, and you're just like, fucking hell, lads. Like, this is a disgrace. Like, youthful James, youthful Liverpool team.
Endo's in that. Playing.
Salah's in that. Yeah. That first half team alone should have been good enough to beat Preston. This is a disgrace. How can he take over from Klopp? And you're just like, lads.
I know. It literally doesn't matter.
I remember our mate and therapist Dave Kirks told me a story once of like a husband just saying to his wife, just a few things, like you said before, or things that stick, a few things Dave said to me just stuck. He said one day he just went to his wife, just have a day off. Just have a day off. Do you having a go at me? And it's the same, like, he told me that story, it's like, with the voice in your head. Yeah. It's that, like, random, like, just go to it. Just have a day off.
Yeah.
Just have a day. That's if there's a message from this show to anyone like that who's watching, just have a day off. Do you know what I mean? Just have a summer off. Chill out.
Yeah.
There's plenty of time for you to lose your shit. Once the season starts, have a rest. Go and have a pina colada with Anthony. No,
I mean, what are we on?
You'll be all right.
The 22nd of July. First game's 17th of August, is it? Against Ipswich. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just not the time, is it? And like, he hasn't even worked with half the players yet. Did you see Preston's goal, though? No.
No, it wasn't a boss.
Chipped the keeper from, like, miles out, yeah. It's a good finish, like. Because you could hear everyone, like, you know, like, whoever was there, presumably just, like, players and stuff, you could hear everyone clapping. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It was like,
nice goal, in. Yeah.
And like, you know, what I saw of it, they created some chances, keeper made some decent saves. If you use 25 players in a game of footy, you're not going to get much in the way of sort of understanding and rhythm and all the rest of it. Like, it's just not, is it? It's just not.
Even things like, you know, the little bits, I haven't even watched the goal, I haven't watched any clips, but I just saw a couple of little things.
You're allowed to just have time off.
But he put Ben Doak on the left wing and he played Salah up front.
All right.
So even that in itself, what does that tell you? He's experimenting with things. He's having a look at things. Why? He's a new manager with a new squad. Jesus Christ.
Both of them are still off because of the Euros, aren't they, as well? It's just one of them, isn't it? Someone's put in the comments, bloody hell, we lost 5 pre-season games before we cruised to the title. Says it already. It matters when it matters, and it doesn't matter yet. So let's all take a bit of a chill pill on that one, I think. Right, what are we on? We are on 58. I think, about there. Is that right? Yeah, getting a nod. So I think we'll leave it there. We'll save the other stuff. We've done it again. We've got a title of a show and we haven't talked about any of that. In the Patreon, then, we are going to have a big serious chat about Prem in the USA. So Arsenal, Villa, Chelsea, Palace, Liverpool, Man City, Man United, West Ham and Wolves have all gone over to the US. There are lots of experts talking about it. There are a lot of people in football talking about it. There's this kind of gathering thing that it's inevitable that an actual competitive game of Premier League football will be played over there. So we're going to talk that too. Should that be something that should be allowed to happen? Should fans be up in arms about that? Should they come together to do something about it? All of those kind of things. Also got a mental health moment planned for the Patreon show as well. I tried to sort of crowdsource some mental health advice and got sent some really nice stuff back. So I'm going to go through some of that as well in the Patreon. And I'd remember as well, if you never had to go with the Patreon and you just want to go and peep over the paywall, as it were, you can do so for free. There's a free trial option on there. Also, as well, little shout out to the people. We recently tweaked something on Patreon, which now means that you can subscribe to the Late Challenge for like a year. You can just pay up front. You get a slight discount, and then you're in then for the year, and we get your little chunk of dough for the year now, which is nice. And a few people have done that. We didn't advertise the fact, we just turned it on and thought, well, if people want to do it, they can do it. And a few people have, so that's being nice. You know, like, it feels like they're like, good these lads, I'm committed to that. Bang, yeah. I'm in. But like I say, if you just want to check it out for nothing, see if it's for you, you can do so. Once you're over that paywall as well, you can look back at all of the Patreon shows we've done since we started the whole enterprise. There's absolutely loads on there. I couldn't even tell you what number we're on, 60 something maybe, about something like that. Shows on all kinds of topics, shows that about topics that, you know, don't age as well. So there's plenty of stuff to keep you going. So go and have a look at all that. Mentioned at the start as well about buy us a coffee. You can go and do that if you just want to throw in towards the costs for running the thing. And yeah, if you just want to watch the free show, listen to the free show, that's fine as well. We'll be back next week with another one of those. Thanks for watching and listening today. And yeah, last thing, if you think it's any good, tell other people about it, because that helps. And click like and click subscribe on YouTube. That's all the admin, isn't it? Off the ads. See you next week.